Monday Night Football, baby. We're here.
There's only one other good play on Minnesota.
Touchdown in 46 seconds. Punches back. Touchdown.
Run Pure Sports UFC 326, Holloway versus Oliveira 2. We have a great card coming today, and there's a BMF title on the line. You know, people call it a fake title or not, but it's a real thing now, John, and JSU. It's a fun fight. They're going to bite down on the mouthpiece and probably provide a lot of violence for us as long as it lasts. But top to bottom, we've got a pretty decent card. I think there's a lot of leverage up and down the card. Well, there's a mid-range for fantasy. You know I love my mid-range. We're back to a mid-range, so that's exciting, but definitely a card that we can dissect from many different angles. I think last week you kind of drilled it, JSU. It was a betting card. It really wasn't a fantasy card as much. I mean, you can obviously build, but sometimes on those slates, it's just one underdog that really sets everybody apart. And you think, oh, I'm clawing for that money line equity on fantasy. And then it ends up being a ceiling type of play.
Yeah, last week was definitely an interesting card. I definitely did not get the loner fight correct. That was not on loner. I will be the first one to admit it. I did not think he was going to get it done in that spot, even though I always said I like him as a prospect. I just thought it was too quick, too fast, and he proved me wrong. There was a lot of people on the loner side, so that was the first fight in a while for a main event fight that I felt like I definitely got way wrong. But the rest of the card went pretty well. It was just not for me at the end because I was low on Loner Kavanaugh. But yeah, it's I mean, this card, we get an absolute banger. I think there's a ton of live dogs on this card. So another good card for betting. I think it's an interesting card for DFS because we got that mid-tier back. So it'll be interesting talking about the old mid-tier. And I can make the case that some of the expensive fighters aren't even that good of plays, a lot of these guys. So it's going to be a really interesting card to see how people build, see what builds are more popular, if people are going to go more to the mid tier, which I would expect on this fight card. But we'll see on that with the ownerships and everything like that here. And obviously we get the rematch. That's not really a rematch in my eyes because they didn't even fight. They didn't fight, so it's not a rematch. Like I've heard tons of people say like the whole Charles Oliveira, undefeated rematches, all this stuff. And I'm like, it wasn't even a fight. You know what I mean? They fought for a minute.
What was the injury?
Then he shot a takedown, and then Max stuffed the takedown, got on top, and then smartly got away as he tried to pull him into his guard. And then when he got up, he realized his shoulder was fucked.
No, it was an esophagus injury. It's the first time I've ever seen it.
Oh, no, but I'm saying he was grabbing at his shoulder.
Yeah,
he was grabbing at his shoulder and then just dropped to the ground. So it's like, and it was over 10 years ago. It's like, could we be? Both these guys have massively evolved. It's just, it's you can't take anything away from it. It's not a rematch.
No, 100%. It's not a rematch. It's DeBronx kind of has the blonde hair now. I don't even know if he had the blonde hair in the first fight. So that's definitely a thing. But the middle range provides some high ceilings this week, you said. And I don't know. I think that fight itself is going to be so damn owned that I really want to pull the trigger to not play and hope it's like a fluky type of third round finish where they just kickbox, but it's the best fight by far on the slate. So you kind of have to be looking there right away. But last week I wanted to bring up a couple points. Penis, A++ prospect. I don't care what people say. We're going to see him tested on the mat, but what a way to start. Wiley's in chat. Talk about everybody in chat. The whole gang's here, but Wiley.
I can't even talk about everyone in chat because Wiley is just mass messaging in the chat right now.
He's amped up.
I'm model mogging right now in my backwards hat. And he's just going to town right now. Shout out to the Prez, though. We finally got him hooked on a real Saturday sport. Instead of just messaging in the golf chat all day, now he gets to go and message in the fight chat all night, and he loved it. He did it last week. He got hooked. It took one card, Mike, to get the Prez hooked on MMA, and I love it. I love it.
Yeah, all it took was penis.
That's it. That's all it took.
Yep, and you know what?
You know what's funny? You know what's funny about him too? So like when Dana White's Contender Series, because me and you are sickos in this type of thing. So we watch all like the Contender Series stuff and some of those lower fights and everything like that. And I remember talking to Big T on a Tuesday and being like, bro, you gotta, because I know he doesn't watch this stuff. I go, there's nothing going on. It's Tuesday. You know, nothing is going on. There's no football. There's no nothing. There's maybe baseball. I couldn't even remember if it was in the summer. And I said to him, I go, turn on Dana White's Contender Series for one fight, dude. This dude, penis, is about to roll this guy. You want to watch it. And he's like, I'm not fucking doing that. And then I started messaging him after he rolled the guy. I was like, dude, did you watch? He's like, no. So he said to me, though, after he rolled him, I talked to him and he said to me, he goes, dude, I remember you talking about this guy just because of the last name, obviously. He's like, I remember you talking this guy up. So
the thing is, he doesn't play into it either. Like, I think he's just such a professional. He does not play into his last name, which is absolutely fire. But listen, I just want to break it down quickly that 118 points from him last week. And wasn't it like bang, bang, bang? I think I had my core and they were all in the first 4 fights.
Yeah, your core was, I don't know what it was, but it's smashed. I remember
Terrain, 85 points, basically. Yep. Of course, those two super high owned, but really one of the biggest plays that was super important was Reyes. I was buying into the chaos, but what did I say on this particular podcast? Do you remember? I said, I have a bad feeling about the old man.
Your dude Reyes sucks, bro.
Dude,
I can't
wait
bet against him in the next fight. He's so bad.
But I mean, I said, what if we all get beat by Douglas Silva de Andrade?
You almost
he knocked him down. He knocked him down. My heart's like, but that shows, right? Like how we're playing this DFS, especially with my mind of DFS. 135 points is only really a quick win with like a gazillion strikes or a deep first round finish. And when you're going to attack a fight that's going to have a lot of action, right? Like Reyes, he can put up that 135. He's getting that finish deep in the 5 minutes. So definitely an awesome start. But again, same thing for me. Couldn't make any money. Had Brandon Moreno in those lineups. So, hey, we'll move on to another slate. But awesome to see everybody in chat. Thank you for coming in. And
hey, Prez, can you make this a promo code for us going forward here? I think it's fitting for the MMA show.
Somebody had the 15 for the IS. I mean, that's pretty good to be
fair. There you go. There,
you know,
now 15%. We're talking right there. Prez,
somebody's marketing brain was up there, so I like it. 100%. And the chats are just going nuts for the fights. I mean, it was fun to have like the boys riding. Like it was like 3, 4, 5. We were rolling. And it's a lot of fun. And let's get some winners on this particular slate, man, which it starts with, I'm not even going to hide. I got a big number in this fight. You like big numbers?
I do.
Big betting numbers?
I'm a fan.
That are very live? Well, I might have a plus 1,500 for you to start the card. We have Luke Hernandez versus Rodolfo Belotto. Luke Hernandez. He very much reminds me of the other Luke. Remember cool Luke Sanders? The guy with the ponytail, and he had a wrestling background and had some good hands. Well, this Luke Hernandez is a better asset here. He's a minus 218 on DraftKings Sportsbook. Come back on Belotto, a plus 180. This line has stayed, and I mean, everybody with a brain is going to be picking Luke Hernandez, but my brain is going, why are we holding steady on Belotto, right? As a dog at plus 180. There's been a little money since the opener on DraftKings at plus 200 on him to make it plus 180. But Hernandez comes from a wrestling background. He's got the wrestling in his back pocket. He's got heavy hands. He's got that prototypical American style, right? Like not Gregor Gillespie, but he could mix in those takedowns to win fights. And this is one of those spots where I hope he's going for the 50, 100K, whatever the hell it is now, because I think he can easily get it. We all know Belotto is enhancement talent. That fight against, what was it, where he got it wasn't a DQ. It was ended up being a no contest where he got knocked out. He fell asleep, woke back up in the octagon and wanted to fight. It was not a good look on the mat. I think Hernandez can do this thing anywhere it goes. Now, where does that leave my brain, JSC? I think he's expected to win by knockout. So I didn't even want to. I was going to let you come in here and then give my big number. I can't wait to get this big number out of my mouth. Okay, him by knockout minus 125. Him inside the distance. What is that? 115. This guy's a wrestler. He could get him down to the mat. Belotto is fodder. Get him into an arm triangle. Get him into a rear naked choke. That submission prop, you know what that is? Plus 1,500 on almost all sports books. DraftKings, it's fluctuating. That is an insane number for a guy that has a wrestling base. What do you think, man? I'm sorry. I'm passionate about this one because I don't know if I've seen more of a live number for a guy that is an A+. Well, okay, not an A+. He's not a penis, okay? He's a stud, all right? He's a stud off the Contender Series with a good base. Belotto is great leverage, but I love betting into something that's like he's expected to finish this fight, and you're giving me 15-1 on most books. Come on, sprinkle away, boys.
Yeah, I actually already bet the sub number.
Let's go.
I'm with you. It's one of those things too. Like Belotto doesn't move he's got a blockhead, doesn't move. And I could totally see a situation where even just like a club and sub too, where like he hurts him, but he's not fully out of there. And then he jumps on, or he shoots, or he jumps on him and pulls something for a submission. So I like the submission bet here. I'm with you. I think that's a juicy number too to get something like that. But I'm with you. I like this first fight. I think Hernandez is a good pick here. I like him to get this fight done. I think he's a pretty good prospect, and wherever this fight kind of goes, I think he's going to have the advantage here. So yeah, for DFS, Mike, do you have the ownership on these fights? Let's get the ownership.
Yeah, I'll update it. It looks like Wiley was asking or explaining how to get into Discord. I'll pull up my ownership while I'm doing that. If you can explain how people can get into our Discord.
Yeah. So anyone who signs up for any of the packages over at runpuresports.com, you will get a link to get into Discord. Obviously, you just got to connect. So if you go to your account here, I wonder if I can pull it up real quick while you're looking this up here. So
it's 40-20 for my ownerships that I'm projecting.
So if you go to account and you click Discord, it should have a link to join it and connect. And then we'll have a waiting room in there. So if you have any questions in the waiting room or the customer support chat, you'll see that. You can shoot any of us a message, Wiley, the captain, and they can help you connect if you're having issues there. But that's how you do it. Just go to account once you buy your package and click Discord and click link to Discord, and it should take about 5 minutes. If it's longer than that, you're still not seeing the channels, then definitely shoot Wiley or the captain a message in the support chat, and they will help you out.
Yeah, no, for sure. And man, we're going to be live betting. There's going to be at least, well, we didn't really have the Mexico high altitude come into play last week. Just talking out loud.
Not as much as we thought, honestly. No.
And you know who looked like she was smoked? Tyreen. That girl was huffing and puffing after one, and then just said, I'm at home, I'm biting down, and she went for it. But yeah, that's
I will say she throws heavy. You got to respect, because Ernesto's not an easy first time out chick to go against. That's not an easy matchup. She made it look, I think, a little easier than that was impressive to me.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting
forward, because Ernesta, with all the forward pressure and stuff like that, and they were throwing, dude. They were biting down both girls a bunch of times. They were just biting down, just throwing
shots. Did they
shots.
Fight of the night? I want to say like they should have, and on any other card, but like I would have, because they actually went for it. They weren't just sitting
Yeah.
back on a lead and coasting or anything. But back to Mr. Fernandez. I'm getting even more wild on this card. There are exact, the site that offers the exact submissions. Luke Fernandez is one of those guys that will look for. I wrote notes down. I know. Look at. I'm looking down at my phone. Anaconda choke in the amateurs, Kimura choke Americana, and in the amateurs. So he's looking for that arm.
Phil Hawes in a wrestling match?
Probably in some, like, what's it called? Some awful hold where you can't move your arms, and they're like, okay.
I'm just saying though, if you sub Phil Hawes, like that's
yeah. No, I think 15-1 covers it all. It's one of those ones that you can see my passion behind it. It's just, why is this number so wide on submission? It's because he's using his hands, but he's based in wrestling. Now, fantasy-wise, I don't know if you heard me say it's 40-20. We have Holloway right below him, but you can easily get both these guys in, right? I don't think there's any crunch to try to get.
What you have the ownership at? Let's get the ownerships for these fights as we go.
That's why I said 40-20.
40-20, okay.
Yep. Belotto is a pretty damn good play from a fantasy, because he's going to be killing off a lot of lineups in his win. I just think he's going to be limited for a bit, especially if he gets those takedowns early. So there is a world where this busts as well. I think it's more likely the next fight, to be fair. But what I'm high on Fernandez. I don't want to make it seem like he's the best prospect in the world. It's just matchups. Belotto is enhancement talent. He was lucky to get into the UFC. He does hit hard. I think he's got to be careful if he's coming in. If he's going for a takedown and trying to close that distance, Belotto could crack him. So there's your path of scoring a lot of points for Belotto on that front. But yeah, I guess submitting Phil Hawes is a good thing, because guess what? You blow on Phil Hawes' chin, he's out cold.
That's right, man. Family now. Welcome aboard.
Yep. Ponta, nice to see you in chat. Let's move on to a next fight where we have a UFC Contender Series bust in this fight as an underdog. But we have Rafael Tobias taking on Dair Nuerzag, and we have Tobias as a -180 favorite on DraftKings Sportsbook. Dair, the bust. I'm calling him a bust because he had some hype coming in. He's a +150 underdog, but he's got a nervous tick. You know this tick? He like.
Oh yeah, I know this tick, because after
it's not good.
It's like after about 3 to 4 minutes, he starts to sweat, and then it just starts happening more and more and more. And
it's bad, and it's bad, but it's even worse on the mat. This could look like the -1000 of the slate if it hits the mat when they're dry. This guy got Ezekiel choked from the top position and didn't even go for a head and arm choke.
Doesn't happen, by the way.
No, it shouldn't happen, because all it is just basically like a big brother choke, essentially. He didn't bother to do anything with it. But if he can't stop that early and they're dry, it could be over. But I also see a world where if Tobias says, I want to kickbox at range, maybe he goes that path. Like, there's a lot of potential outcomes in this fight, don't you see? And I like my buy low spots, but I don't think you're getting a good price tag on Dair.
No, I don't. And I see these guys coming in around 20-ish%, I think, each. I'm definitely on the Tobias side. I agree with you that if they get to the mat when they're dry, for sure, Tobias is pretty decent flowing through the grappling situations for a bigger guy. And we've already seen Nuerzag have like major issues in the grappling. I mean, his grappling defense is just horrible. It's as bad as that tick that you have to watch. Like, it's just really, really bad. So, yeah, in the stand-up, are they closer? Is it more of a closer line fight if this fight plays out on the feet for 15 minutes? Yeah. Nuerzag might actually have the edge a little bit, especially early. But I do think at some point this is going to hit the mat. And if it does, I think Tobias is going to be able to maybe find a finish here as well. Another spot where I think a sub or ground and pound is is definitely in play here. So I'm on the Tobias side for sure. Like I said, I think there's a lot of live dogs on this card. We haven't hit the first two, but we're gonna get to some. Trust me, this is just not one. And if it doesn't hit the mat and this stays on the feet, that's where you could get like a greasy split decision type win here, which probably won't score well if it goes to decision. So that I could easily see this fight going either Tobias's way, which is decent scoring wise, or it's just going bad for both, which won't be good. So I'm probably right around the field, maybe a little over on Tobias, and I'm definitely going to be under on Nuerzag.
It's totally different worlds that we had last week with all those 9K guys, and we're like, somebody's going to score 135, and the 135 was not the person we thought, right? Like it was, I'm trying to remember. It's so difficult to remember. There's so many fights, but this is one of those situations where there is a bit of an unknown ceiling for Tobias, right? Like, and I feel like when you're playing him and he's hitting those ceilings, I don't know if people are going to get here. I'm seeing 30-15 for ownership, 30% for him, 15% Nuerzag. He could come in significantly lower based on lineup builds, and that's what's important, is to be able to discern when people are using him. They're probably trying to get a little bit more crafty with their lineups, because people are going to go to the stone chalk, right? They're going towards the Max Holloways. They're going towards the Johnsons, the most expensive Johnson. But we should look at pick six like we always do. I forgot to bring that up.
Yeah, as you pull that up here, we got a question here. Is there a particular RPS person to follow for the World Baseball Classic, hockey advice? Yeah, World Baseball Classic. I've definitely seen Third and Schlong's been posting. That's Bryce has been posting a bunch of those bets. I know DC was in the baseball chat talking about some bets, talked about some on the NBA show, and JVC's posting almost every sport there is. So yes, from hockey to World Baseball Classic to whatever, those would definitely be the guys.
I will give breaking news. There will be DFS for WBC. I got a confirmation from DraftKings. They were holding it back for the first, but they said every slate USA is on. They're very likely to do that. If not, have showdown slates for that. I was in contact with them the other day. I'm like, where's it? Because I'm a degenerate. Like, I want to see the WBC, right? I want to use those funds and try to invest them so I can use them towards the MMA. And also, he asked about hockey. Your team of hockey guys are one of the best in the industry by far. So make sure you guys.
Yeah, we got a ton of good hockey guys. I mean, Saul, Matty Ice, Wiley knows some hockey. Wiley knows some puck, as we call it, in the streets.
Well, it's a fighting sport. So now we've got him transitioned from the ice to the mat.
He figured it out. He figured it out that you can there's some parallels there. You got it with the hockey and the MMA. So
what do you think about Hernandez? Let's circle back towards pick six. I've got it up on the board. 94.5 fantasy points. Time is going to be a bit of a no on that, going back to the Hernandez 8.5 minutes. Significant strikes is a tight line at 28.5, because I think we both know there could be a quick finish. If he goes towards grappling, that would lead me to believe it would be under, but he still is one of those guys that might just rain off 100 strikes. I kind of like the over. I really like Hernandez. I'd pencil in the over fantasy points. Would you as well? Just for now. Are you muted, or am I muted?
Let's pencil it in. Yeah,
definitely. Because I think the floor is pretty safe. But obviously we want him to get in there and get out. And it's a guy that's going to want to do that. You might as well keep it up, because I'm grabbing the Tobias for us. 96.5 for Tobias. I wish it was your numbers. You and I both know we want 105, so we can take the under. Control time would be a thing. They don't even offer that. Significant strikes, 20.5 for Tobias. That's
I can
crazy.
See the under. That's a high number. Did you say 106.5?
No. He's 96.5. I said if he was the JSU special at 106.5.
Definitely. I love those unders. Those are my favorite.
I know you do. I was like manifesting it. Time of the fight is locked. Significant strikes. are very, very interesting on this fight. 20.5 for Tobias, 19.5 for Nuerzag. Doesn't it lead you to want to take the over and just get 3.5 minutes of kickboxing? Because there's your easy 21 strikes for Tobias or Nuerzag.
Yeah, we could do that if you want. I could see that happening.
I can't believe that we both pencil in the first 2 fights of the night.
Well, we can always come back and take one off if we need to.
Yeah, we actually had 14 fights. We're down to 13. That Bolanos and Lee fight. I've been a Bolanos guy because he's so good at striking, but he can't do any mixed martial arts of mixing him and blending them. It's like if he had been in that spot, I would have been interested, but we don't have that fight, so that doesn't matter.
Now, Mike, this is the type of hockey I know. I know some street hockey. I played some street puck back in the day.
You know what I played? Because I'm not very physically active. I played the one in your mom's basement with the knees and you're on with the little sticks. What do they call that? I'm sure Wiley knows.
My buddy had that stuff. Yeah. I never played it, but that definitely sounds like a sport you'd be playing.
No, let's be honest, I'd be betting on it. I wouldn't even be partaking in it.
Let's go, Studio Josh. What's up, bitches?
Hey, man, this UFC 326 is lit, bringing out all of the fans. So make sure you guys are smashing that like button as we're working our way through the fights. But, man, we're getting back-to-back enhancement talent, right? Dair putting Tobias over. We got Belotto putting Hernandez over. And then we have the Mexican not on the Mexican card. Tell me they're not putting him in a situation where it's like, all right, buddy, we need to make some cuts before we get to the summer. Jesus Aguilar on this card versus Sudamargi. We have Sue coming in as a -218 favorite on DraftKings Sportsbook. Jesus a +180. Now, Jesus does one thing good. You can tell me what he does good, right? I got your neck, right? He goes, jumps the gilly, gets these submissions. It seems like he's got these T-Rex arms. He doesn't have great striking. He gets taken down. He's got a limited path of victory, but the path of victory can be strong when somebody shoots into something stupid, right, JSU?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's one of those things too where I do think if you go back and watch Jesus,
you're sighing now. Well, it's rubbing off.
It is rubbing off, yeah, a little bit. It's one of those things where I do think Jesus is one of those dogs that he's just a good bet when he's like in like that +170 range. He's beat some guys where he was a dog. If you go back and watch some of his fights, it's kind of, I put it to like, he's never, in my opinion, always the most talented fighter, but the most talented fighter doesn't always win the fight. And I say this all the time, I feel like, and he's a perfect example of it. You go back to the Stuart Nickel fight where Nickel was like a -200 favorite or something like that. He was a prospect. Everyone liked him, and he came in and he got the job done against them. And early, Nickel had him down on the ground, like super early in the fight, in the middle of the octagon, like, and he just found his way out. And then, he goes for those guillotines. He loves jumping the gilly. I love guys that jump the gilly. That's one of my favorites, Mike, is these guys that jump the gilly. Now, against someone like Esteban, where you saw him lose, Esteban had the wrestling in the grappling to almost like stay safe. Every time Jesus grabbed his neck, he was like fighting off immediately, like and he did a really good job defending the choke. But you'll watch that third round of that fight. Jesus was losing the fight. It was very clear. But Jesus was going for it at the end of that fight. He was going for it. Esteban was tired, and he was moving forward. He had him up against the cage a couple of times. The problem with Jesus is he doesn't have a ton of power. So he's not like, putting you out on the feet. But, he tried to dog it out at the end. He didn't have enough to finish the fight. But, he had him hurt a couple of times there and maybe could have, but didn't have the power to finish it. And then another spot against Garule, who everyone liked, and, he loses a couple of times and, obviously beat him and stuff like that. And he was a dog in that fight. So, yeah, I mean, I think he's a good dog to bet. I think he's a good dog to have some in DFS. Tumandemberel is a guy that I think most people want to get down if they can. And if they get him down to the ground, Jesus can probably have some success here. Out in space, I think he's going to have issues. So he's got to find a way to close the gap, get inside, and get this thing to the ground. And if he does, I think he's live. So I don't love Sue as a DFS play. 9,100 seems a little much for a guy who really doesn't wrestle. Really, he's not going to score in that way. So he's going to have to get an early finish. And I think Jesus tough enough to not get finished early here is more my stance on it from a DFS side.
He's so durable.
I mean, honestly,
he's got the Mexican durability in Jesus, right? And he then prevents a lot of scoring unless he's getting controlled from top position. And Sue is not that guy to do it. I don't think he's going to exploit that. And it's one of the worst ownership fights on the slate. It's 10% for Sue versus Jesus 15. Jesus opens your lineup up. It makes a lot of sense when you have these fights that have a low ceiling. Look at the ownership. The fantasy points on pick 6. They're both for 58.5. You know what I'm going to click, right? The money line is a value play. When you're trying to play pick 6 at 58.5, Sue could fall into those points. Minus 218 on DraftKings Sportsbook versus the 58.5 fantasy points. A minus 218 should be what, 75 points equity wise? Say 75, 70 points safe. I'd be shocked if you don't get behind that one with the money line equity 58.5. I don't think Aguilar is going to stall him out. I think Sue will be able to get out. Like if he's in one of those submissions, he gets out, like, right. He's not stalling it out for a while. Jesus is a guy who somehow always ends up on back. There's reverses.
Well, because he's comfortable.
Yeah,
he's comfortable in those situations. So it's better than being, especially in this fight, it's going to be better than being at range with Sudamargi. So
10-inch reach advantage for Sue, right? Obviously, K-Foul put that in there, and it is important, but it's also important to realize he's fighting a guy with literal just like noodles. Not even noodles. There's small arms. It's literally a T-Rex. So definitely an interesting fight when it comes to ownership. I don't necessarily think I'm getting here. I wish their durability was worse for Jesus because then I'd have to play some Sue, right? Like it's difficult to say 10% for him. The guy above him is 10% as well, which we'll talk about that fight in a bit. But yeah, I don't hate you if you're going to take some shots on Aguilar and DFS and or betting because he can definitely win around here. And the next fight, we go from this. Oh, Jesus needs to fight at 105, by the way. If there was an atom weight men's division, he would be a firm top 15 guy. I can't believe that just came out of my mouth. But atom weight men's division, to just have a bunch of jockeys transfer from jockey to fighting, right? And we've got a big thing. WBC bets in chat. Are we just riding with USA? That minus 9.5, everybody's looking at it, laughing. DraftKings gives you a boost like 25%. And they're like, here you go. Here's the USA. You're going to bet your team, right? They cover. And you and I both
cover. Didn't they win by 10 or whatever?
They covered, but they covered in the 9th inning. JSU, they covered in the 9th inning.
That's how USA gets it done. They knew they knew the people needed it. They knew it.
And last thing on the baseball, because I could talk baseball too. Manny Ramirez's son, 2 dongs. Can boy, we grew up with Manny.
That was Manny Ramirez's son?
That's Lucas Ramirez, Manny Ramirez's son.
I didn't know that.
Playing for Brazil.
I saw him, like I saw the thing on Twitter about him hitting 2 bombs. I had no idea that was Manny Ramirez's son. Yep. Oh, that's awesome. Love that.
It is. And the funny thing is, everyone's like, oh, why is he playing for Brazil? He's not making the USA team. He's not making the Dominican team. So, like, you got to give these guys an opportunity if they're at that level. So, who is at this level and going to continue to get a job in the UFC? Maybe he's on the ropes. Cody Durden. He starts the first of 3 Cody fights on this slate. We just needed, who is it? Cody Gibson, I think, to really get 4 of the Codys on the same slate. But we got, I'm blessing myself. Nuerzag Tumandemberel. the alphabet is the favorite, minus 166 on DraftKings Sportsbook. Comeback on Cody Durden is a plus 140. It's so obviously we're going to have to talk about Cody Brundage later. Cody Durden's his own commodity because this guy wins first rounds. I literally look at him and say, checkbox. If there's a market you can bet him to win the first round, do it, because he typically does. He comes out hot, and then the durability starts waning. The gas tank starts waning. What are we going to do with this? Because I think Nurmagomedov is a guy that embraces chaos, and God, does he have some aura. Have you seen these pictures with he's a hat guy. He wears the hat. He rides horses. This is a interesting commodity for fantasy wise. You know, I like buying into a high pace. The pace is here, but could Cody be the American wrestling that takes him down and negates it? You tell me.
Yeah, I don't know. Before this, Casual Mike says, I don't know what it is, but JSU and Davis Maddox sound the same. Take that as a compliment right there. I take that Davis Maddox is a pretty good YouTuber and loves the best ball streets, and I am also a best ball street lover as well. So I will take that as a compliment there. And in terms of this fight, first of all, Tumandemberel, I think is how you say his last name.
What about the first name? Huh?
Well, I'm not saying the first name. I don't need to. I said the last name. That's all you need to say. You don't need to say both sides of a name. All right. This is MMA. Okay. This is the first thing I will tell you as someone who is now feels like is a vet of MMA shows is you never say both sides of the name unless you know you're 100% right. If you know you're not 100% right, the trick is to just say one side of the name. Easy enough. Easy done. Everyone knows who I'm talking about. When I say Tumandemberel, there's no other name close to that name on this list. So everyone knows who the fuck Tumandemberel is. I will also say, Run Pure Sports, we are big on the if you wear a hat train, we like said fighter. We are big on that. We're big on the hats. When we see a guy walk out with the hat, that's a thing. Okay. And Tumandemberel is a fighter that has skills. He's dangerous. He throws with power. I think his grappling on the ground from a submission standpoint is very good. If you go back and watch that Carlos Hernandez fight, he had Hernandez a few times in submissions that I don't think a lot of other guys get out of. And Hernandez just scrambled really well. He had him in that crazy armbar. We had him flattened out and just it looked completely in deep, and then Hernandez just like jumped over him somehow and got out of it. I still have no idea how he got out of it. But in that fight, I think with Hernandez, one thing that was glaring was his takedown defense is an issue. Hernandez got him to the ground a lot. And although he's dangerous, I think one of the reasons why he's okay getting taken down is he trusts his grappling, because he is good with the grappling. But man, if you can stay safe against him, you can have some success. Cody Durden is a guy that we all don't like. He's the guy that, you know, he comes into fights, he'll go for it, and he'll look good for a little bit, Mike. And then what happens? He just kind of like goes from good to bad, like the crashing.
What do you think? Do you think that it's more about the damage he's getting onto him, or it's more about the gas tank?
I think it's his style. I think it's his style. His style wants him to just keep pushing forward, and at a certain point, his body just can't do it anymore. Because like his gas tank plays a lot into it, obviously. And I do think if he can sustain the gas tank, he can have success in the wrestling, in some of the boxing. Hernandez was having success with his boxing. You just got to be careful of the power, because Tumandemberel does have big time power here. But if you can stay away from the power shot, you can have success. I think Cody Durden is definitely a dog that's live. And I think this is a fight in DFS I want to jam. This is one of my favorite mid-tier fights of the slate. Bar none. Like, I want both sides of this fight. I think someone's getting hurt bad and probably subbed. I think you're going to see one of these two guys win via sub. I think Cody Durden's going to come in, go forward, and try and get this thing to the mat. And I could see him getting caught in a submission from Tumandemberel, or I could see him getting a submission himself. Remember, Cody Durden has 6 submission victories. He also has 5 losses by submission on his record. And Tumandemberel has, I think, 6 wins by submission on his record, if I remember correctly. So both these guys have skills on the mat. And I think that's where this fight plays out. And I think if this fight finishes, I think the winner has a good chance of being optimal at these price tags. 8,400 for Tumandemberel, 7,800 for Cody Durden. So I like under. I like this fight to end via submission, and those are going to be my bets on this fight here.
Yeah, man, you fucking nailed that breakdown. This is a fight you want to go to the overweight on the field. It's about same 25% for each of these guys. I have a slight feeling that Durden will be the game theory play where people are going to be playing more of him. And I think our boy Alphabet, I'm not even going to say it, right? Like, I have a picture of him up. Look, click him up. Tumandemberel.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think that's how you say it.
Yeah. I mean, the aura is off the charts. But when you talk about bets, and we both think that Durden is that first round type of equity guy, and his management load, he never does it, right? He never uses it. There's a new market on DraftKings. Have you seen this? They have round 1 point spread. I've never seen this market anywhere but DraftKings. So props to them, pun intended, for making a new market. But they're literally offering a minus 1.5 or a plus 1.5 on either side. Plus 1.5 on Cody Durden is one of the best plays I've seen. Listen, he's minus 125. So he needs to win 1 scorecard. Think about it, right? So he wins 1 scorecard, and he's a first-round fighter. That's a really nice bet, minus 125, right?
This fight is finishing, Mike. Be very careful.
Oh,
Be very careful. Hey, who's this guy? At Big T44 DFS. Love seeing someone stare down to JSU on the feed. You know who was staring down at Big T's fighters was my boy Damian Penis last week, who just starched your boy. Absolutely starched him and was staring right down at him as he's looking up at the stars over there.
Schultz is cut, right?
Schultz
is see ya, right? He's gone.
I can't believe my boy Big T bet against my guy. I can't believe it. After that whole story I told you guys, and he bet against my guy. You might not ever be able to come back from that. That's a tough thing right there.
Personally, I can't wait until Penis explodes again in the UFC. But we for the pick 6 side.
You see they're hiring a taste tester. Maybe maybe if Run Pure Sports doesn't work out for me at some point, if Big T fires me from shit talking him too much, I'll put my application in for a Wendy's taste tester.
Oh man, I love it. That war is amazing, by the way. The CEO that started it, I'm sure you've seen it. Like, what are you thinking? But you know what? Great marketing, because now everybody's talking about it. So, you win-win.
It's genius marketing, no matter what you think about. No matter what, if you get people talking about your company or whatever, good or bad, it's genius marketing.
Yeah, and guess what? I want to try that whatever McDonald's Big Arc burger now because he took the baby bite. But, baby bite we're not going to have here because this is that fight, like you said, that we were going to want a good piece of. Do you agree with me? Do you think Durden's going to be higher owned or Alphabet?
In DFS, I feel like
it's important, right? Because I think you can garner a little bit of leverage. And
I think he's a dog people can at least talk themselves into in DFS. So he might end up being higher owned. I'm not sure though. What do you have them coming in at? Because I have
it slight for Tumandemberel, about 30 to 25.
Okay, because I was gonna say about I got him around like 27 and 25%. But I had it flipped Durden and just with the price difference, just a slight price difference, but you could be right.
You know why it's that inside the distance line? It's so elite at plus 120 for Tumandemberel at that price tag. Like you're picking the values off. Those guys that are building lineups based on numbers are going to be driven towards the alphabet here, but it sounds like you're going with Cody for the value. Cody for the first leg of the Cody parlay? Question mark. Stay tuned to see if Cody parlay.
I don't know if I'm going to the Cody parlay over here. I think I'm bowing out after one Cody. I'll just say that real quick.
It's been the talk on Twitter, right? I know we're in a bubble with MMA Twitter sometimes, but it's just funny. Like Cody parlay. Pick six wise, man, these lines are tight because they're both expected to score fantasy points. Durden expected to score more though. Look, 74.5 compared to Alphabet 65.5. That you never ever see that.
Yeah.
So that's telling. Takedown line 2.5 for Cody. Significant strikes 40.5. Cody Tumandemberel 33.5. I don't really see anything, and we've already got a few legs.
We can't take the under on takedowns, can we?
No.
I could totally see this ending after like one or two takedowns.
Well,
like
Cody,
someone just getting subbed.
Again, Cody could gas, and anything's possible.
Tumandemberel is definitely tricky on the ground too. He could easily one shot, and he could easily find a submission.
You nailed it with the submission thing, because Cody loves just getting out of there, getting subbed. Like he gives up a horrible sub rate when you look at all of his stats. But
he's the type of fighter that's gonna bring the fight. So when they bring the fight, it's a lot easier for guys to be aggressive and go for stuff. And someone like Cody is gonna give you the opportunity. So yeah, makes sense.
Hey, move from one submission specialist to perhaps another, who I personally wouldn't look at him as a submission specialist, but he is coming into the UFC. Alberto Montes versus Ricky Tersios. Alberto Montes a minus 185 on DraftKings Sportsbook. Comeback on Ricky Tersios is a plus 154. Ricky, how do you still have a job? I don't know. Is it enhancement talent? He can win UFC fights. He's got a little bit of everything. He's not great anywhere. I guess maybe it would be submissions. So it makes for a very interesting stylistic fight. I have worries. If this thing goes to scorecards, this is not going to score well. I just have a problem there. But I did see on Twitter, one of the OGs of MMA Twitter, Brett Apley there, had Ricky Tersios average scoring, Ricky Tersios average scoring against. Both 77 points. I saw that stat. That was crazy. So he's one of those guys, long-term, you're targeting his fights, it's going to pay off. And Alberto Montes has 2 submissions that he goes to. And I've never been a person that likes to bet on exact. The MGM has the exact outcomes.
Yeah.
Guess what I used? I had a couple free bets. JSU.
I saw someone post. I don't know who it was. God forbid we see someone bet something. We actually can't bet it though, Mike. That's a thing now. There's actually people in the chat that said if you see someone bet something that's actually a sharp thing, we can't bet it. It's against the rules of betting.
It's his bet. It's not
Twitter.
my bet, right?
It's his bet. Yeah. It's his
my
bet.
bad.
So you shit out of luck. I did see some guy though post like a, what was it, like plus 2,000 or something like that?
Year.
What?
Yeah.
Is it an anaconda or was it?
So technically, it's a Ezekiel, because you're in top position and you're cutting off a little bit of it. But honestly, all you need to do is slide that hand and relieve that pressure. Dyer doesn't know how to do that. Yeah. I know that guy. He's awesome on Twitter, by the way. He's a good follow, and he's hit some massive numbers. But the problem is MGM. We're talking about exact outcomes.
No, because Alberto he does two submissions. It's the Darce and the Anaconda, I think. Yep. Right?
I'm so happy you said that. I actually bet those 2 things to happen, because Tersios is, to me, he can win fights in the UFC, and he's an interesting case for fantasy. But I mean, something's going to give in this fight. That's why I said if it goes to a scorecards, I actually think the scoring comes back to earth, because both would have success in the fight. I did hit it. I hit the Darce and the Anaconda here. What do you think?
I like that. Take them both, because if he wins by submission,
Yep.
it's one of those two, and he hunts for those two submissions.
You know what the price tag is?
His coaches were telling him, like, in was it the Contender Series fight? I think it was. He's like, if you go to this, like, go to Mount, or use it to go to Mount. And he just, like, refused. He was just like, no, I'm just gonna keep going. And he finally got it, of course, but he's just like, I'm gonna keep doing this. They were like, use it to go to Mount, and he's like, nah, this is my bread and butter.
Yeah, if you have a move, and we've seen this, Ryan Hall, perfect example, highest of level of jiu-jitsu, not blending mixed martial arts together. He made it work in the UFC because he just, in Minari roll, he grabbed your leg and he said, good night. I took it home as a trophy for my shelf. This is the type of guy that's going to stick to that game plan in Montes, and I firmly believe it. But let's just say him by submission to cover all of the submissions. We're not going to call it an exact submission here. Plus 200 is a really nice number. Plus 250 is out there. I don't hate that at all for a bet, just when we talk about bets. But when you talk about blending of all mixed martial arts, Tersios probably more refined, right? Like generalist, but refined in certain areas of striking. I could see this being an important fight for the context of MMA DFS, right?
Yeah, it definitely could. This is up in weight too for Ricky, I think, right? He's moving up.
Yeah, he looked healthy. He looked good.
Yeah, no, and someone who, like, Ricky uses his pace and cardio, so the fact that he doesn't have to cut as much weight, probably that last 10, is probably going to help him even more, because he does need to move forward. He doesn't have power. His striking really sucks. He wants to make it a car crash. He wants to make it ugly. If it's ugly, it's him. If it's, like, technical, he's getting, like, whooped by a lot of people. And if you watch Montes's last fight, he kind of fought maybe a little more powerful, maybe a little better striker, but Ricky Tersios style, where the guy just kept moving forward. And in the first, like, round, that guy was having success in the striking, taking him down. And remember, Montes has grappling, so you can actually get takedowns on him because he trusts his grappling. So takedowns actually come okay against a guy like Montes. You just got to be very fearful of him in the grappling here. And I do think Ricky is someone, I mean, shit, we've seen Ricky against really good grapplers, Mike, have some success, right? So I could see a point where Ricky gets him down. You know what I mean? His takedowns aren't very good, but again, it's just like the style. And if he can get Montes tired, I think that's how he'd win this fight. If this stays on the feet, though, and this is a striking fight, I think Montes is way better striker than Ricky. And I don't even know if he's, like, an amazing striker or that good of a striker, but I think that's just, he's better than Ricky. So I think Ricky's got to make it ugly. I think he can make it ugly, though. I think this is a tough fight for someone like Montes if Ricky comes in and is all gas and no breaks, with less of a weight cut, with a less challenging weight cut. I could see that happening, to where, you know, maybe he wins two rounds on the scorecards and makes it ugly. So from a betting perspective, I think Ricky is an interesting bet here as a dog. Montes definitely has the upside, though, for DFS. Here, but if Ricky gets a bunch of takedowns, like, I don't know what Ricky's takedown line is, Mike, but I'd like the over.
I'll take a peek and see on pick 6 as well.
While you take a peek, OM Godlike, I assume you're talking about baseball, best ball. Not sure, but if you are, yes, I'm in all the best ball streets: baseball, NFL, NBA, you name it, I'm in there. So yes.
Somehow they have a Montes line on pick 6. By the way, that's a little
for what takedowns.
Yeah, there's no under. It's over 1.5 is juiced. That's a bizarre one because you and I both agree it's probably Tersios that would be pushing it. Let's look at the, what did you say? Tersios takedowns. Tersios takedown from that 3 takedown starting point is 225 plus 225 for 3.
Oh, so we don't have like a 1.5 line?
Not yet. No.
All right. Well, if that 1.5 line drops, I will be. You know what? I could, because if this fight does extend, I just worry because his takedowns are just not good. but he does go for him is the point. And it's less about the shots and more about he tries to get guys tired, right, Mike? And then they make mistakes and he capitalizes on the mistakes. And that's Ricky's game.
So what chat's telling on me, right? They're saying that I might have cored one of the guys in this fight. The reason why I cored
did you core Montes?
Yes, and I'll tell you why. It's the chin. Bernardo Sopai knocking him down. Tersios, not a good look. Kevin Natividad.
Dude, you see those knees that Sopai got on Tersios? How did he not go out? He had 3 knees that landed like flush, and he didn't go out cold.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is, but a knockdown rate is so important and crucial to DFS. I think it's a hidden thing because you're getting 10 points. And how many times have we seen where it's move fighter, and we get more points? It's these little fractional decision makings that are important when you're building a lineup. And I think the pace is really there, like I said, in this fight. When you're looking at ownership,
I think the way Tersios fights, dude, Montes like club and sub is probably the way he wins this fight.
Yeah, and again, please
Tersios is tough. So
I'm using those bonus bets on those 2 exactas, like I said, I'm starting to get really crafty with these things. You know how much I liked Luke Hernandez. I didn't even have to get greedy with the 15-1 on that fight. Ownership on this fight, Slappy, I'm looking at Montes at 33%, a third of the field. We're looking at Tersios being about 10 to 15. I would garner he's higher than 10, definitely towards that 15%. There's a lot of these fights where it's half of their ownership, right? So that's great. You got to sprinkle those types of guys in, but get access to almost all of them, right? If you're MMEing, you can't just take your flag and stick it in Ricky Tersios, JSU. You know what I mean? Like you kind of got to build the portfolio out so you have exposure to killing off a lot of the field.
Yeah, pretty much. I would say I bet you he comes in just under 15%. People definitely don't want to click. And he's 7,700 too, which is honestly a little more expensive than I would have thought. But he is fighting
score. He basically average scores 77 in his wins, which is funny. Fantasy wise, him 61.5 on pick 6, 78.5 for Montes. Significant strike market. They do have the over under for Montes at 42.5. I thought they wouldn't allow an under. Time, we said no to the takedowns. Control time, no, probably not.
For who? Montes?
I would have said Montes 1.5. That would require him fishing for that submission, and who knows? With those 2 chokes we talked about, those sometimes are just see ya, right? The Darce is like 30 seconds and the guy's just limp. So I can't be touching anything in this fight for pick 6. Who knows? Who knows? He, like you said, he could also land a knockout with the violence that is perhaps expected in that fight. So definitely a good one. There's a lot of fights that are good. I think it's more difficult to find fights you don't want to play on this slate, right? Like that's silly to say, but what did Aguilar and Sudamargi? Those are 2 that we think probably are lower, but you still look at the build of the lineup. You're going towards Aguilar. That's building the certain way to getting some of the studs. And what's a stud that everybody wants? Dante Johnson, baby. Cody Brundage is in another fight here in the UFC. He gets the opportunity. Late notice, folks. Late notice. Cody looking a little fluffy. Dante nearing a minus 1,000 on DraftKings. He's minus 900, plus 600 for Cody Brundage. Does he try to get hit in the back of the head? Who knows? Does he try to implement wrestling? I think his best path is to go balls to the wall and embrace this, because when he sometimes tries to go, I wouldn't be a smart game plan because he doesn't have that in the arsenal, right? If he tries to kickbox, it's not going to be good. I think Dante's going to embrace it and go, I think it's the click. I am almost locking Dante Johnson on this slate. Talk me out of it if you think it's crazy, but highest ceiling on the slate by far. Don't care about price. Highest win equity. The pace of fight. This is a guy that is going to be scoring friendly. He's going to go for takedowns. He's going to have striking in bunches. He's going to have the knockout equity. I don't know how you get away from Dante Johnson on this slate. Talk me out of it if I'm crazy.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be the best 9K option that we have, clearly. And, he's facing someone in Brundage who just got knocked out a few months ago by Rouston. My boy, Cam Rouston, just put it on him. Absolute domination outside of that first round here. But Cody Brundage is, at this point, they know what he is. They know why he's there. He's there for a highlight, and it's probably not a highlight he's going to enjoy very much. But
a low light?
Yeah.
No, somebody said, I gotta cut in, man. Somebody said when he loses this fight, he's got a job already lined up. He knows the rule book so well. I wish I could quote who it was. I need to give them credit for this. He could be a judge. He could be a referee. Get Cody, sign him up already before. This guy knows the rule book.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Are you playing any Brundage at all?
You have to. You have to, because he's a snake. You could get snaked here. Dante is not an elite prospect. This is a guy who is going to be serviceable, who's going to have setbacks, but he's going to have fun fights. So Dana's going to say, I like you, kid. Keep you around. That's the type he is.
And he did get stuck for a while in that first round against Dumas. I mean, Cody Brundage, if I was Cody Brundage, I'd be trying to wrestle my ass off.
Yep.
Yeah, like as hard as I could. I don't care. Don't worry about getting tired. Wrestle your ass off and try and tire Dante out. Try and take the sting out of those shots. Grapple a little bit. Those arms heavy, and maybe it's not as powerful in round 2, and maybe he can win a decision.
One of those situations where I rarely take my flag and stick it in, and I think it's just this perfect slate recipe that I could get screwed by, because I'm literally think I'm gonna lock.
Yeah, because
Dante.
what does Cody need to do to lose you this fight? He doesn't have to even win, right? At 9,500 for Johnson, he could just stall.
All he needs to do is do the tattooed criminal output. What's my boy's name?
Dumas.
Yeah, Sudrukas. Yeah, do the Sudrukas game plan, which nobody saw that coming, and it stalled out the scoring. But
again, though, it's just one of those things. Yeah, I think Johnson's going to probably be like 50%.
That's what I have.
And Cody Brundage is going to be very low owned.
Lowest owned.
Yeah.
Outside of Font. Single. Maybe Font comes in lower.
So it's just one of those fights. Do you think Johnson hits the tag, you're going to need here? I think so, but I don't really like the other 9K options. So yeah,
that's the context of the slate. I just don't think there's strong plays around Johnson to merit like fading a 95. I mean, typically I like to fade the guys that are so much more expensive than everybody else on the slate, because your opportunity cost is like you're done. Like, how are you going to build a lineup that you're comfortable with? I think you can comfortably build lineups on this slate. And with that being said, I think you can also get the likes of Holloway or a Hernandez in those lineups. So I could see a 3-dog lineup winning to get to Johnson, and that's getting you a little bit different. So I'm going to be locking it in. His pick 6 line, 102.5. I mean, that's tight. That's a takedown and ground and pound and give you neck and see you later, Cody.
That's an early knockout.
19.5. I wish we had like 27. I take the under for Dante. Time
I normally like that. I think this fight ends quickly, so I think you could take the over if you wanted to, but we don't have to.
Yeah. Over on what?
I said you can take the over on fantasy points if you want to.
Can we put it in the back of our head, or you want to put it in?
Yeah.
I mean, we're both super high on them, so it's like it makes 100% sense. Brundage probably gives up 95 points a fight when he loses. Probably 105 to be fair. But yes, I do think it's an elite target. I'm going to be overweight to the field, even if he is going to be 50%. And it's scary because Dante is not an elite guy by any stretch of the imagination. Let's move on to a fall from grace, man. Cody Garbrandt, the third Cody, on this slate. Former champion in a plus 136 underdog on DraftKings Sportsbook. Coming in, Long Zhao, minus 162. I'm going to throw it right to you. I'm not going to say a damn word because I have no clue what version of Cody we're getting.
Yeah, at this point, how can anyone say they have like an actual idea of what Cody we're getting? This is a fight that total for DFS, I could see this fight busting. I think this is probably the worst mid-range fight of the slate in terms of DFS. So yeah, and I know Cody Garbrandt is going to be a popular pick. I just because of the name. Everyone knows Cody Garbrandt. I'm sure he's going to be very popular. This is a fight that I'm probably not going to bet, but I'm not going to bet Cody Garbrandt. I always worry about these like popular dogs like Cody Garbrandt. So if you make me pick, I'm going to lean Xiaolong, but it's a DFS fight that I'm going to be extremely low on. I'm going to hope that Cody Garbrandt can kind of dance around a little bit. They stay at range for a lot of this fight. Maybe Xiaolong tries to wrestle a little bit, but I think they could stay at range for a lot of this fight. And in DFS terms, unless there's a finish, which I don't love, I don't think it's going to score well if it's 15 minutes decision with a lot of it being a stand-up fight.
And isn't it the biggest trap in the world? Like you were alluding to it. People want to click him, but I also see him coming in pretty low owned. Am I wrong to think he's like 10%?
Weren't you surprised when you saw the line and saw Cody was a dog?
Oh, absolutely. When I open up for looking ahead, I'm like, okay, that's scary. Like
because in my head, I was like, before I looked at the line, I was like, Cody's probably a slight favorite, name value, everything like that. Maybe it's but like when I saw that he was a dog, I was like, oh wow, I was not expecting that at all. So that also kind of worried me a little bit. That's why I'm just staying away from this fight. You don't have to bet every single fight. I think this is boring though. That's my take is I think this is a boring fight. If this is a banger fight and it scores well, I'm not dead well in DFS.
That's the same thing for me. And it's horrifying because like I can't say get behind Cody with confidence, but I think he's more of a win equity play. Typically, I would say Cody Garbrandt would be more of a ceiling play in most of his fights. That was like 5 years ago, JSU, which is shocking because I feel like it was just yesterday he was fighting Dom and putting up a zillion significant strikes, having a wrestling base, so he wouldn't have to use wrestling. I wonder if he goes that route, it still wouldn't score well. And not to mention, who knows about the chin, right? Cody's been absolutely starched.
It's just crazy though. This guy's a favorite, and he's lost two of his two of his three first UFC fights. Yeah. Like it's wild here. K. Alex Burner likes Xiaolong KO prop. Cody's chin. It's tasty at plus 475. Yeah, I mean,
don't hate that. I mean, it's the direct path to victory against Cody, and who knows where it is. Speaking of this, I guess it's a perfect segue. Did you see Patchy Mix overnight? Minus 500 favorite in Ryzen.
Oh, yeah. He lost to the 19-year-old. Yes, I saw that. I did see it. I enjoyed it very much.
Kind of a good parallel, isn't it? It's like Patchy going to be the best. He's the man. Bellator champion. And these guys just fall off. It's crazy.
If you're DFS like for this fight, Mike, are you going? Because if I had to play someone, it would be Long. I think just because of Cody's chin for DFS, I'd probably
ownership, right? I think the key word is perceived. I think Cody is higher than the 10% that he's going to be coming in at on my projections, and I think he'll be significantly higher than that. But by the math, I'm supposed to play Cody. Does that make sense? Because you're getting win equity for.
Well, what do you have Xiaolong coming in at?
25.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be under on both these guys. I'll probably be at like 10 to 15% on long, and I'm probably going to be out on Cody.
It feels like these guys should be flipped. Literally, Cody should be 25%. Long should be 8%. Then I'm able to take my Xiaolong happy and move on to the next fight. But I can't, because now I have to look at this and say, I'm going to have exposure to Cody. At 7,900, I don't know if he's necessarily that important. You nailed it when it's like, there's a world where the winner of this fight scores 50 to 65 points.
And at the end of the day, they still have to beat out other mid-tier fights that I think are just better.
Oh, 1,000,000%. That's why I think you're looking at pick 6, 65.5 points for almost both of these guys, 64.5 for Cody.
Yeah, what's the Xiao strike prop? What's the Xiaolong strike prop?
55.5 significant strikes. And I'm looking for my value, so I got to go take a peek at the old DraftKings Sportsbook and see where the ladder starts, because that's what they're doing now with the little what?
Yeah, I like that. I like the Xiao. That's a good prop right there. Metro Boom. I like
Isn't
that.
that a rapper?
I'm not sure.
60 is where it starts for the ladder. So
but pick 6 at 55.5.
Yeah. So that's plus 100 for 60.
I like it. What do you think of that one?
And I think we both know that this fight's likely to go to a decision. Don't hate the over. I'm penciling it in, but I'm going to take that over at 55.5. We're just getting so many legs early. Come on, pick 6. Let us take like pick 12 on this card, because there's a lot to pick. We move on to the next fight of the night, where we end up seeing, I think this is a divisive fight. I'm just going to call it what it is. It's a rematch. Gregory Rodriguez versus Bruno Ferriera.
This was a decisive finish to a fight.
No, it's divisive in people's opinions.
Divisive.
It's decisive in a debutante coming in and taking a head off of a robot.
Oh man, that shot he got. I rewatched that fight. My God, you won't see guys get put out any better than that type of shot right there. I mean, that dude, that was like fury right there. I mean, that fight, by the way, Mike, just to go into it, like Bruno, for that first round, it looked to me like Bruno really struggled for a lot of that fight, figuring out the range. But RoboCop, he wanted to play at range, but it's not his style. So RoboCop, I thought, was winning that fight for all of that first round, just doing what he should have been doing, using his length, causing Bruno to kind of, miss a lot of his shots or struggle trying to get inside and figure out the reach and everything like that. But then RoboCop does what RoboCop does, because he can't help himself, right, Mike? And he just goes in there for no reason. I don't even know why he's but he just wants the kill. And Bruno finally timed it perfectly and connected on one shot. That's all it took, was one big shot, and put that dude out cold, staring up at the stars. So, it's definitely a fight. I think a lot of people are, whatever side they're on, they're very like strong in their stance. I'm just taking it from like a price standpoint. Like, Bruno's already knocked this guy out. I know Gregory Rodriguez is going to want that knockout back. What is he going to do, Mike? He's probably going to do the same thing he did before and give Bruno a chance to knock him out again. Because if he just at range, I think Bruno would really struggle here. But I don't think in 3 rounds, I don't think he's going to be able to do that for all 3 rounds. So I'm going to take the dog in Bruno. I think this is a great fight for DFS. I think G-Rod's going to want to come in with a kill or be killed mindset of, I want to get this knockout back. And maybe he will get the knockout back. I'm not saying he can't. He definitely can. But I think he's also going to give Bruno his chance to knock him out again, obviously. So great fight for DFS. And, you should play both sides of this one for DFS for sure. But
there's a lot of those. It's a lot of those fights on this slate. It's a very juicy slate for I'm not going to jinx this card, but you know what I want to say. There could be elevated scoring. on this slate. I can't do it. Last time I said it, it just went
That's what
to
I
like,
mean. Like, there's gonna be some fighters that get like 80 to 90 in their price, like decent. Like if Ricky Tersios were to win a decision, he's probably scoring like 70. You know what I mean? 75. I don't think in DFS terms it's going to be good enough. Even
you
though
need
I
a
think,
ceiling.
yeah, even though I think he might win a decision, that's how he wins, and he's live to win. He's probably a better bet than he is a DFS play. I don't know if the ceiling is going to be there for him, where it's like Bruno's ceiling at the same price tag or 100 less, Mike, is just absolutely enormous in this spot, you know?
Yeah, I personally am not. I can't back up the whole Bruno love from everybody. I just think Gregory has more tools to win the fight. Period.
He
We
has
have
more
not,
tools. Will
but
he use them?
he doesn't use the grappling. But how many times have we seen Bruno go to the mat and he can't get up? So I think
He had Bruno's back for a second in that fight, and Bruno just like shedded him off. Also, we didn't even bring up Bruno looks in amazing shape. Like G-Rod always looks in amazing shape. Bruno looks unreal. I've never seen him look that good.
You hate when I talk out of both sides of my ass when I'm saying, oh, I think Bruno's a good play. So I'm going to give it straight down the middle. I think this fight busts. I think there's a world where they kickbox for 3 rounds, and I think the fight busts. So I don't want to say play Gregory. I think Gregory's the side.
If that happens, it would be Gregory's choice.
Correct. Which that's why I'm saying it that way.
Which so I just don't believe it is wired in his mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't think he's wired that way. I think he's wired the other way, where it's like maybe his coaches are telling him do this, do that, do this, do that, but then he gets in there and everything just goes to shit because he's like, I just want to kill this guy. I just want to like.
Well, RoboCop. He's such a robo. His chin is out in the air. It's always there to be hit. Yeah. And my problem and the reason why I think it can go to a decision is because of the pace of the fight. I don't think this is a strong paced fight. I understand the higher the weight class, the less.
Yeah, because they're gonna slow down eventually. If this,
I'm not even talking about that, JSU. I'm talking about from the click. The pace is like tit for tat. It's not crash. It will be on Bruno to do that. But if Gregory chooses to play his game, which is kicking punchy.
Yeah, but his game is not what that's not his game. His game is crash. That's his game. His game is crash.
I'm trying not to sigh. I'm trying not to speak out of both ends.
Did you watch that Cannonier fight? He tried so hard to get that dude out for how many rounds? It was like 2.5 rounds of just straight murder.
Correct.
And then Cannonier somehow came back from the depths of hell and won the fight. I still don't understand how Gregory Rodriguez lost that fight, but that's what happens.
Let's fight a little. Bruno Ferriera is not these guys. Why is everybody buying in? He hits hard as a goddamn truck. He's got that southpaw heavy, but the problem about it is that the pace of fight is so slow. It's 1-1 for Bruno. So your equity is very small with him, and he's going to be.
But he's 7,600, and you only need 1 strike to land to go out.
We've had this all year. You're gonna make me explode. Derek Lewis. There's these guys that just have that small amount of equity. Hell, you could even put but you're okay. So you're discounting the Derek Lewis fights where he's nutted. You're discounting that for the one time where he busts. You're essentially forgetting the fight before that when Derek Lewis was the nut. You're saying fuck that fight. Okay, we're forgetting that one because this one he busted. That's what you're saying. No, I'm not short-minded. I'm gonna look at the whole picture.
Well, you're not looking at the whole picture then, because you said in the volume, and then you're like, but did you remember he busted last time? It's like Derek Lewis. I'm like, well, Derek Lewis 2 fights ago was nutted. People want a ton of money.
That was the Taliesin fight, right?
Yeah.
He has a bigger floor.
I think our own Slapshot Mo won a bunch of money.
He's a bigger play because he's got 5 rounds to play with. We don't need to fight. We're fighting over a Gregory Rodriguez and Bruno Ferriera
No,
fight.
it's good though. It's good though. You're going to be under on these guys.
Guaranteed I will be under on them. And it's just due to the fact that there's a lot of ownership here. Bruno's going to be one of the biggest underdogs.
We would get killed. We would get killed.
Well, do you want to go on my
I do not want to take one shot from Derek Lewis. Not even a jab poke. I don't want to take anything from a guy that size.
Yeah, we're probably like the size of his legs, to be honest.
Literally.
But
yeah,
pick 6 wise, I can't imagine we're gonna get anywhere on here. Agreeing 83.5. Rodriguez 67.5. That's tight. Knockouts, we're not even gonna see that one. Fight times locked. We get a lot of these things that are locked on this slate, by the way. Interesting market, just to bring to your attention. Backs my point up about the potential for a bust. 2.5 minutes control time, Rodriguez. 1.5 minutes for Ferriera. Got to throw those points out that help back up my point. Significant strikes, 32.5. I could see that easy over for Rodriguez. You probably don't like that, but that's okay. Yeah, I don't think there's not going to be anything for either of us to
what
get
was
to.
G-Rod strikes at?
32.5. That's pretty low. Let's just look at it.
I could see him going over that. I don't think they're going to grapple. So,
I mean, he's hit it in 4 of his last 5 fights.
Yeah. I mean,
That's
he can get
number.
over that early.
He could even get it over it in a finish. Move fighter.
Yeah.
So that's a really strong line.
The problem is these guys hit so damn hard. Move fighter is really hard when they're just like flat on the ground. So
no head bouncing. It's just one.
Was there a guy? Was it last week where he was clearly out and the ref's like move and his arms is like dangling and his face is down. He's like move and he's just getting whacked. It's like, dude, can't move. He's out. He's definitely out. I don't know who got into these refs' ears where they're like, okay, give them more these fighters like more of a chance in general to wake up, even to like get up. But I feel like it's happened way more recently.
I don't know either. And there's too much rope. And fighters are some. What was it was
Zellhuber, wasn't it?
Oh, he had so much rope. And it was Herb. It was Herb in that fight. And his arm, you're right. That thing went limp.
Limp again. Shout out to King Green, by the way. Yeah. Bobby Green, baby, getting it done. Money line.
So, officially, Zellhuber, do not bet list ever.
I mean, I told you guys to stay away from him. I told you. He was a bad play.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we should have known when Trey Ogden beat him, but that's a different story, I guess.
Don't put we in the conversation. Me.
I'll flip the
W. I did know. I told you. I tried to warn you.
We should have had Jesus Aguilar on that card instead of Daniel Zellhuber, for the Mexican heritage.
No, we need him for this card. He's going to get it done.
Yeah, who is now a favorite in this fight is Drew Dober has flipped. Didn't even realize that. Refreshed my page. -130 Drew Dober on DraftKings Sportsbook. Michael Johnson is a +110. Absolute fucking banger. For a BMF slate, this is a BMF type of fight here. And Drew Dober always comes to take your head off or get his head taken off. And I was surprised that Michael Johnson was the favorite earlier in the week, just based upon way close to 40. Both these guys are elevated in age. Let's be honest. There's not much to separate there. But I feel like Johnson just looks a little slower than what he was. And Dober hasn't really missed a beat. He is slower to start, I would say. Remember what was the fight last time where he came back and got that 3rd round finish against Prepolek? I feel like he's got to push that trigger early in this fight for this thing to hit an optimal lineup, even at the price point at 8,200 and 8K. Now that Drew Dober is the favorite, it's terrifying. Why? Their ownership's going to go here now. He's 25 to 30%. I assume 30% of the field's going to play him. Doesn't it make Johnson a better play?
I think it does. And I actually like Johnson, honestly. Drew Dober am I the only one that watched the Prepolek fight?
No.
Like, Drew Dober did not look good in that fight. He looked really bad in that fight. And dude, once that chin starts to go, like, Drew Dober is a lot more normal than what he used to be, right? So, I mean, Propolek had no power either. Like, and he was giving him. I watched that fight, and I'm like, I don't think I can bet Drew. Now, DFS is different. Like, yeah, you can play Drew Dober. Obviously, Drew Dober's 8K. And now he's flipped to a favorite. I think he's going to be very popular. You said he's going to be like, what, 30%?
I think it's higher.
I think it's higher. Yeah.
Think about the way people build lineups. Now you have a value play on this slate, the only value play. Now the fallacy is that he's in that mid range where literally 82, 8K. So when you're playing an 8K, you still need this guy to go out there and get you 85 points. And I don't necessarily know that 85 points is going to be okay if it goes war and they go to a decision, or it's a third round finish again, or he doesn't pull the trigger. Yep. There's more question marks on Drew Dober. It makes Johnson a better play, and he's got that direct equity. The tough weight cuts for Drew Dober, K Foul says it in there. The face is sucked in. It's one of the most horrible things to see through fight week. Personally, I think it's disgusting that we have to see this. It's like real time. He's getting sucked out, and now his face is back. It's like, that's just disgusting. And the chin is very, very hittable. He's got a gorgeous jawline. What was Wiley left chat, but Wiley was talking about the looks maxing. Drew Dober's got the looks maxing all over him, right?
Am I the only one, or did Mike just call a man's jawline gorgeous? Am I the only one that's listening to that right now?
He's got a great jawline.
We talked about way too much Damian Penis the last week and a half. Way too much, guys. We gotta pull it back on track here, guys. We gotta get Mike's head out of that and back to reality here a little bit. Boss Bro coming in with I'm going back-to-back season-long winner this week. Love that. King Green was easy money. I agree with that.
There was value on Green by lock. So I think when I'm looking at fantasy minded, right? By lock, all the money was going towards King Green. You got to look at the value plays. It's perfectly that somebody said King Green, and you did as well when we were breaking down this fight. Because
yeah, I don't know if I said him first though. I could have been second or third. I got to go back and listen to every other MMA YouTuber out there that posts his bets and see if I was first, second, third, or fifth. Either way, I told everyone that Zellhuber was a bust, and that was the
we are in
call.
This.
Not that King Green won by knockout. That wasn't an easy call. That he shouldn't have been plus 300, and it was bet King Green or play King Green or nothing else in that fight. That was the call. Don't touch Zellhuber. Zellhuber is let down so many times as a massive favorite. How many is that now? Like three different times?
Three of four, 3 of 5.
Crazy.
Yes. But I have to say, did you see that guy that had that 10-1 last leg for like 750 to like 100K parlay? He had King Green.
Did he have Bobby Green?
Last leg was King Green knockout for 10-1 to close the parlay, and it was $750 to 100K. He had Penis knockout, like this other dude knockout. It was only like 3 legs, but King Green was the last leg by 10-1.
Well, that leg was huge then, because that was what? Plus 1,100?
Yeah. Insane. I just want to bring it back full circle to this fight. This is where value matters. When you're building lineups, you need to be cognizant. People are going to be driven towards a Drew Dober, and he's a cog. Like, if you're breaking down a slate, you should be looking at a few things right away. Main event, where do I land? How does it contextually fit on the slate? Obviously, super important on this slate. This particular, there's so many good fights on this slate. We all know that. Is the ownership getting sucked into this middle range because of price? Now we have a value in Dober. You either attack it one of two ways, GSU. You know this. I know this. But the viewers need to know. You're either taking that value in Dober and, okay, it is what it is. But you can get crafty. You're taking Johnson. You're looking for that knockout. Or you can fade. There's 3 options. And personally, I'm going to try to be avoiding this fight because I think there might be a lot of ownership. They kickbox for 3 rounds. It's a decision. The winner scores 70 points, and I'm okay. So 40, 50% of the field, right? You could probably say 60% of the field because everyone's going to play Dober are
I think
dead.
so.
Are dead. That's a very good way to differentiate yourself and get it
I was
off.
gonna say, how does this fight? But I do think this fight does have that potential bust here, where I'm probably, I'm picking Michael Johnson at the now flipped, obviously, but I think from a DFS perspective, I can't get over on Drew Dober. He's just gonna be too high. It's just I gotta be under on him. And I'll probably be at the field on Michael Johnson, whatever he comes in at. But it's definitely a fight I could see going to decision. I wonder what the odds are for the fight to just end via decision, not even with the winner. I wonder what odds we're getting on something like that.
Very easy on DraftKings Sportsbook plus 120.
Okay.
It is expected to finish minus 160. So fight to go to decision plus 120 covers both of those. And then
I thought it'd be a little higher than that. Interesting.
Yeah, I thought it'd be closer to the 200 range, wouldn't
Me too.
you?
That kind of tells me though that I kind of like the decision even more.
Oh, 100% trappy. It's a trappy fight, and it is good to see that Dober became the favorite because it makes an even more context slate for fantasy. Let's move on to the next fight of the night, where we have Chihuahuas versus Rob Font. Raul Rosas Jr. minus 270 on DraftKings Sportsbook versus Rob Font 220. Our Boston Rob, man, one-dimensional fighter, boxing against the power grappling of the young Raul Rosas. What's gonna give? I mean, doesn't this scream fade? It just, if he can stop 2 takedowns, I think we could be in a spot where we can fade this from DFS and be okay. But I don't want to get burnt by Raul Rosas.
Okay, but how are we getting burned in DFS by Raul Rosas? He gets like 10 takedowns.
That's rinse repeat.
I'm asking because one of the things Raul Rosas does have is pretty good control. So I think if he gets a takedown early when they're dry, I think Rob Font might be stuck there early. Now, could he get more as the fight goes on? Yes, because I do think eventually Rob Font will be able to make him work a little bit for those takedowns. Also, this will be by far the best striker that Raul Rosas has fought. By far, Rob Font is definitely a very, very good boxer. He's fought the elite level of competition that Raul has not fought yet. And we've seen Raul, at time. I don't think he's going to get tired in this fight, but we've seen him have like spots where he struggled a little bit here. So, what I think happens is I think round 1, you're going to see Rob Font stuck for a lot of that round 1 on the ground. I think in round 2, Rob Font can make him work a little harder for the takedowns, put him on the back foot, and maybe get a little boxing going. He's going to be feigning those uppercuts and stuff like that here for those shots and everything like that. And round 3, who knows? Maybe maybe Raul gets a little tired from boxing. Those takedowns don't come as easy, and we see another like greasy split here. Rosas probably wins, but I think Rob Font's a pretty good dog to bet. From a DFS perspective, though, I don't know if Raul's going to finish Rob. He is super dangerous, obviously, on the ground. His grappling is elite, but Rob has only been finished one time in his MMA career, and it was a while back. It was almost 10 years ago by sub, but that's it. Like, he's not an easy guy to finish. I think he's an easier guy to get to the ground, but he's not an easy guy to get completely out of there. So I think this fight goes to the cards. And another fight that, I would bet by decision here. I wanted to look.
So you're talking it up as potential bust with Rosas winning a control-based game. So it's the oh God, one of the worst fights to ever watch. Corey Sandhagen and Rob Font.
I
It's
think,
more close to that than anything.
yeah. So like the Gene fight, I bet Rob in that fight. Rob is obviously a dog.
Mhm.
And like the difference is like Gene has striking to put together with the takedowns, but doesn't have the grappling, elite grappling that Raul has once it gets down there. So it's like half a one does because Gene could still strike with Rob a little bit. If Raul gets stuck and the takedown stop working, he's gonna really struggle, I think, on the feet.
Yeah,
Here.
yeah.
So, but Rob's gonna really struggle, I think, from his back if he gets him down there. So it's just one of those things. Which way do you see this fight going? Do you see this fight finishing? I don't see the fight finishing. So I see it going to decision. And if it goes to decision, I don't know if you're going to get the volume takedowns you're going to want because a little bit because Raul's control is pretty good once they get down there.
So 10 or less % on this slate. There's only 3 that I have projected, and Font is one of those guys. We've got Brundage himself, and unfortunately, I have Garbrandt. So I guess we kind of just X him off because I think you and I both know he's going to come in higher owned.
Yep.
This is a wild take, I guess. Maybe I'd rather Brundage than Font in a vacuum for that ownership under 10% because I just think that Font, yes, probably has better win equity, right? But it's going
He's
to be
got terrible scoring upside.
The metrics aren't
Rob
there.
Font, even if you like him as a bet, I think he's a terrible DFS play.
Yeah, I can't agree more. And I think that it's just funny how multifaceted our game is, right?
Yeah,
Like we want winners.
This fight is a perfect situation of I think you can bet Rob Font as a dog, but I don't think you can play. I think Raul Rosas is the only DFS play, so it's a one-sided DFS play for me. And then it's kind of just, a dog or pass, honestly.
It's a great name for Rosas to get under his belt. Let's be honest. The UFC knows what they're doing. He gets this under his belt. He moves on.
The UFC, they gave him for a step up in competition. They gave him the best possible step up they could give. Let's be honest.
Absolutely. And again, I think the state of Massachusetts MMA is in shambles. Rob Font's training
talking about it like Kyler got 4 takedowns. J-Ruff said 7 for Matsu.
Well, you know what the over-under is?
Get taken down.
You know what the over-under? 3.5. That tells a story. You always got to look at the betting side of things. 3.5 takedowns means 1 takedown a round. That's literally what the sportsbook is telling you. That's the script.
But that's because Raul's control is a lot better than those guys that he was getting taken down against.
Yep.
Remember who was it? Corey got him down, and he was down there for a while. He controlled.
It might have been It might have been 10 minutes of the 15. It might have been 12 for Christ's sake. It was
longer than that.
Fight. Also, our boy Isaac Delgarian back in chat, just so you know, Green was a lot.
That was a 5-round fight. He got controlled for like almost 20 minutes, I would say, of the 5 rounds.
Oh, that's even worse. I thought it was just a 10. That's
it was a long time. It might not be exactly 20 minutes, but
yeah. No problem. But pick 6 wise. I can't imagine we're at anything. Significant strike market would be 27.5 for Font. That's interesting. Rosas 24.5.
I mean,
we need multiple pick 6.
What? I think it goes to decision. So
yeah, that's a wild number.
Numbers, I think both those numbers go over.
Can you stack? I know on UD you can stack a fight, by the way. Did you know that?
I didn't. I mean, you could do a single game parlay on DraftKings. I wonder if we can
cook it up for overs on both.
So we both like we obviously like decision, right?
You get a decision to cover it and then
okay. So what'd you say Raul's number was?
24.5 on pick 6, 27.5.
25 plus is minus 225 on in the same game parlay on DraftKings. So there's value there. Raul
is 27.5.
So Raul takedowns 3 is minus 225 and 4 is minus 130.
Yeah, so there's value on the over 3.5. There's value on the roast. I think you take on pick six over 24.5 and run because that correlates to both of our decisions. Even if they're grappling, you're going to have some of the significant strikes
Yeah.
from top position. That line is completely out of whack. We're already up to our 6, but that doesn't mean anything. We might be able to
So
scrape
if
together.
you go Raul Rosas, 3 takedowns, 25 total significant strikes plus and decision, it's plus 105 on DraftKings.
I don't know if I can get behind that, but yes, I understand. I understand your thought process. I would correlate both significant strikes. Just
okay, but they only start at 30 for Rob Font.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
He might get stuck on his back for a while, Mike.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
I don't like it for DFS. I'm probably going to be under on this fight for DFS too.
What did we say for a decision prop? Minus 225 on DraftKings ish.
Yeah, it's got to be somewhere in that range, right?
Yeah, it's not for me. It's not a bad play. I think he's going to be safe. I think the wild thing is I would do the only prop. There's a lot of these. What is it? Like knockout only. It would probably be on Font, and there's probably value on that number because they probably would favor Rosas.
Yeah, because Rosas is, if he finishes them, it's by sub. Again, like I said, Rob is not an easy guy to just finish. So,
but you like how I dissect it, right? Is like that line that I just said. I'm right here on it right now. By knockout only, Rob Font is minus 165. So they're on to the same shit that I am.
Problem with Rob is he's gonna be terrified to get taken down. So even when he's got him on the back foot, he's not gonna go all out for it because he's gonna be worried about getting taken down.
Yeah, can I mention one more? Because I just thought of these blah only, submission only. You know how they have the first round only, blah blah blah. Our boy Luke Hernandez, the safest route is submission only is him plus 180. So I mean, they're expecting Rodolfo Belotto. That line there is probably going to be one of my best bets because it's like even if it pushes, who the hell cares? Luke gets a knockout, you're okay. That plus 180 is almost only upside. But let's move on to a fight that is going to be. It's not going to be important again for fantasy. I think it's a weird dynamic when we say that, but it's going to be important for betting side of things. So we're going to have Kyle Barriault versus Reinier de Ridder. Barriault coming in a minus 250 favorite on DraftKings Sportsbook, a plus 205 for Reinier de Ridder. So people are going to sell him after that poor performance. This is a guy that is going to have some high highs, some low lows. And from a fantasy standpoint, his fights have not busted in the UFC yet, JSU. People don't want to go to a Reinier de Ridder. That might be on them because I'm going to have to get back in. Barriault is this name value. It's the fighting nerds. It's the corny tattoos. No offense to him. I think he'd kick my fucking ass. No, clearly. He'd throw me into another country, maybe outer space. But I don't know why people get behind him. He's very one-dimensional, it seems. He was able to go 5 rounds, use somewhat striking. But he's just based in grappling. Reinier de Ridder is based in grappling. I see it negating. And when it's a kickboxing match for 3 rounds, you're going to tell me Reinier de Ridder is plus 205? That is bonkers. Why are you looking at this as a one-dimensional kickboxing because the grappling negates itself? Not to mention, if it's grappling, Reinier could have success there. I think that there's no way you get to Barriault in fantasy. He's going to be 10%. He's stuck with the same type of Sudamargi, right? I don't know how you confidently get to him. There's only one play from a fantasy. There's only one play from a bet side. And I think there's only upside for Reinier de Ridder. He looks in a way better shape. You can tell me he's a quitter all day long. But the upside is that he is competitive in the striking. I like this play from everything.
So he is a quitter. You'll never lose that tag, no matter what he does after that. He's always going to be a quitter. But 3-round fight, Mike. 3-round fight. And
7.5 minutes.
He quit because he was so tired.
Yes.
Which is bad, obviously, but that was not a 3-round fight. So I don't think we're going to have those issues in this fight, obviously. Here, he looks like he's in really good shape. And like you said, Kyle, from a fantasy perspective, does not really score that well. It's because he's so technical all the time. Now, I do think the Ritter is going to just try and get his hands on him. And maybe if Kyle can stop the wrestling, grappling, and stuff, he can have some success just being on the outside, hitting them and moving pretty much and just staying technical, because he's the way more technical fighter. I don't think he's very good. Kyle. Yeah. He's the way more technical fighter. I don't think he's very good. I never liked his style. It's horrible for fantasy. It like negates fantasy points. His style is just it's terrible. But the Ritter's like the opposite. The Ritter just tries to grab you and get into kind of the car crash fight.
He looks for that knee up the middle every single fight.
And he wants to get a hold of you because he wants to
clinch,
get his grappling. Get to his
clinch
grappling.
Fighting that leads to some sort of sloppy groundwork. And if it does hit the mat, this also strikes with a not the we're gonna negate for scoring. There might be like 6 points reverse, 6 points reverse. Like they're going to be technical if they hit the mat.
Now, here's the thing. The Ritter is a quitter, Kyle by KO. Even if you like Kyle by KO, that doesn't mean he covers the 9,200 price tag. He could get a KO. He could flatline the Ritter and still not cover the price tag. He could score 95 fantasy points. Look, he scored 96 against Craig in a round 2 KO. He had 1 knockdown. That's not going to get it done on this card. He's going to need an early finish, or I don't think he's going to try and wrestle the Ritter. That's not the game plan. And these guys come in with game plan. I don't think the game plan is going to be wrestle. So think about how he's going to have to get you over that 9,200 here. I don't think maybe it's volume plus a knockdown in a finish. Maybe that's what it is, but it's not really his game either. So, I think the DFS play is really dog or pass. And
it's everything play. It's an everything play.
It's the betting play too. I can't bet Kyle at minus 250.
Yeah, I agree. So pick 6 is saying the same shit that you were just saying. 3.5 minutes of control time over is the only option for Rainer de Ritter compared to Barriault's 1.5. So they do think he's going to go for that clinch game like he always does. Stall it out.
Over 2.5 is minus 175 too. Like if this thing goes over, I don't see how Kyle's scoring enough.
That makes me want to bet Rainer even more because it should negate itself and be a competitive kickboxing match. This also
if it's a competitive kickboxing match, I think Kyle is going to be more technical in that
correct,
situation.
More technical. Then it's on Rainer to cause that car crash.
Correct.
He typically does, which can win around. Somewhat sniff about a split decision. I'm sniffing it out. Like it does have some weird shit.
I could see split written on this thing. Definitely.
I think you just our hands are tied here for fantasy.
What do you got the Ritter at? What's the ownership at?
15 compared to Barriault's 10. I mean, it's the second lowest owned fight compared to the Jesus. I mean, do you group yourself with a Jesus versus Rainer type of situation with them being 100 apiece off? Or
yeah, I mean, I'll probably get over the 15. Again, I don't know if the Ritter is going to score well either. Because even in the kickboxing scenario where he wins, he might not score that well in that situation either, because that might just be a boring fight all around. But he is cheap, so it could score enough. That's why he's the play. But
Barriault's never been finished, right?
Barriault's again, because of his style, though. His style is he stays away from danger, or he does a good job of staying out of danger for a lot of the fight. So,
God, whoever thought I would be mentioning Rainer de Ritter after that last fight as a potential play on
not this guy.
It's just that's why each fight matters. And I think the UFC knows what they're trying to do, right? All right, well, you just quit against a guy who is more of a mat and got beat on the mat. Now we have a guy that's a little bit more technical. It's on you to make this thing dirty, and I think Rainer can do that. Definitely make it dirty. It is what it is, right? We're dealt with what we have in front of us. But next fight, is this a good fight? I'm not entirely sure if they put a great
it's an okay fight.
Yeah, I guess we have to target this one. Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira 2. Max Holloway minus 215 on DraftKings Sportsbook. Come back on Charles Oliveira plus 165. Throw out that rematch thing that you talked about earlier. It's an amazing floor fight. It's an amazing ceiling fight. How do you get away from this? I don't know how you get away from it in fantasy. I mean, a third round Max win with grappling that negates from Oliveira. I don't even necessarily know that Oliveira is going to go towards grappling. Do you think that he just says the best way for me to make the most amount of money is bite down on the mouthpiece? I think that might be playing into Max's situation.
But yeah, man, it definitely could be. I mean, does it happen? I don't know. I don't know if it happens, but I wouldn't do it if I was Charles, but we'll see.
I don't know about yourself. I don't know what the price would have to be, if what side you like yet. But personally, I've been waiting to get like, can I get closer to a plus 200 on Charles? Can I get these bigger numbers? And it seems like everybody's betting Max, and the line continues to stay at that plus 165, plus 175 range. I don't know when I can pull the trigger.
Because I don't think everyone's actually betting Max. I think Charles is a big enough name. People are betting Charles at plus money. Charles is definitely going to be a popular bet. I would be shocked if not. And like you said, the line is telling you everything. If maybe more people are betting Max, but I bet you the money coming in is maybe more on Charles at the end of the day. So maybe the bigger liability at the end of the day. So that doesn't shock me at all. Honestly, Charles Oliveira and Max Holloway are two of the more popular names you're going to get in the UFC.
And Charles,
and people love these guys, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the Charles love through the years is building and building like a snowball. Every single year, more people getting behind him. And Max, just everyone knows what they're signing up for. But
Max I don't even know if we get a trilogy, because I bet you the UFC would love to get Conor in there against the winner.
Oh, BMF Conor?
Yeah. Do you see him calling him out? Saying, forget this 155. Nate Diaz was the first BMF at 170. Let's go to 170 and let's fight. I'll fight the winner. It's literally right on my Twitter page as I'm looking at it is the video of him just talking shit about fighting the winner or something like that. I would not be shocked if that was the outcome of this.
Good turnaround too, because by fight week there, UFC fight week, whatever the hell they call it, International Fight Week.
International Fight Week, yeah.
That would be the one. But let's break this thing down from fantasy. I like Oliveira. We have seen, there's a stat I'm going to pull up, so talk through something to get me to this text that I need to look up. But dogs are hitting in main events at an absurd rate this year. I think it was like 4 of 5, so I'll look it up. But Charles Oliveira does a lot for your lineups, right? He gives you the salary that is needed. We talked about how like Barriault, Sudamargi aren't necessarily needed, but I still need the salary to get to Dante Johnson. We talked about Luke Hernandez being an important piece. I think contextually it's weird because then we have Holloway right there, and he's cheaper than these guys. The floor is hard to ignore. How are you building your lineups with Max Holloway? That's what it comes down to, right? Like, if you're trying to win a GPP and you got a Max Holloway lineup, how do you differentiate? I think you can differentiate more playing Charles Oliveira.
Yeah, I don't agree with you at all. I think people are going to play Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira is not going to be low owned. Charles Oliveira is going to be popular. He's a popular dog.
I'm not saying that, just so you know. I'm saying building your lineups.
Where are you going to go with the money? Everyone's going to the same spots with the money.
It's going to take
It would be the opposite.
It would be if you're playing a Barriault or Sudamargi. You're right.
So everyone's going to the same spot. That's what I'm saying. Like, you actually have a better chance of being different, I think, going Max Holloway.
Wow. You nailed it.
It's one of those things where I do think this is a fight you want to jam. Obviously you get the 5 rounds. Max's volume's insane. Charles has the ability to also finish. And whatever you want to say about Charles, he's not the striker Max. Max is the best striker. Obviously Ilya and everything. Ilya had the power. Ilya has the power over everyone. But Max, just from a striking standpoint, has the edge over all these guys. It's so good. It's so high level. Charles has good striking though. Like, he has power. If they get into a situation where Charles really wants to throw down and try and get a finish, like, Charles does have the power to, maybe hurt Max. I just trust Max more in those situations. Obviously, Charles has the edge in the grappling for sure. If he can get him down and hold him down, Max does have good defense though, so that's not going to be easy. Don't forget, when the injury happened, it was all over a takedown, right? Charles shot in pretty good for a takedown, even though it was a little far out. And Max stuffed it, reversed it. And then Charles tried to pull him into his guard, which he does all the time. And he just decided to stand up, and that's when the fight was over. But if Charles gets him down, it's definitely going to be a problem, and Max could have issues here. So I guess it just kind of depends on where you see this fight going. I struggle. The only time I've ever in my life, because I've been on these guys like Charles, I've been on, off. The only time I've ever been off Max Holloway was just the Topuria fight. And I'm probably not gonna be off of him here. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. I'm gonna stick with the striking at the end of the day, and Max being able to volume and piece up Charles Oliveira. It's not gonna be like an obvious though. I think this is a close fight. I think both these guys are gonna, have their moments and stuff like that. But I do lean that this fight extends. I don't know about you. Do you see a finish, or do you see the fight extend? I think this fight goes to decision.
I think it's a 4th, 5th round type of finish.
Okay.
If not, just going straight to a decision. Agreeing with you. One concern I have is Max Holloway. Eventually, something's gonna come back to earth. Like, I don't know if he's gonna check out or what, but like, he's doing all those stake streams now. Just last week he was doing it. I think he won like $100 or $1 million or some shit playing a slot machine. Well, who knows if it's real or not, but total different discussion. I just don't know. It's like, of course he's training. Of course he should be faster on the feet. But does Charles Oliveira say, fuck this? If it goes to the mat, it's a boring fight. I'm not a bad motherfucker, right? There's a world where he just plays into Max, and Max looks like even bigger of a favorite. So you're right. You're right. When you're playing Max, it's a better play. But how do you make it different? Like, is it playing like then are you jamming the guys around him? Are you going up to Johnson? Like, how are you maybe playing a middle ranged Max build with some money on the table?
Well, I think that's going to be the Max build is the middle range. You're still going to want to get down into a cheapie or two with Max, but yeah, I mean, the middle range does look juicy, so it's tough not to just click one of these two guys and then jam some middle range, play Johnson like that. That's just the easy build that it's tough not to do, honestly.
And Pick Six is saying this is going to be a closer fight than we think. 92.5 fantasy points for Holloway is kind of wild based on his style, his million significant strikes, the 5 rounds. Being a favorite 2-1 should be closer to 105. But they know if there's grappling from Charles, it's going to stall this thing out. The deeper it goes, maybe he just goes in and out for 5 rounds and there's not a lot to be had. Crazy price tags on Pick Six, but we had already made our Pick Six. Did you know that? Like, we were already.
Did we get over it already?
Yeah, I mean, we were over it. So we like when there's tight lines on the main event and we're already at the 6. So you want to run through that with me? I'll tell it to you right now.
Yeah, let's pull it up here on the chart.
Mr.
We got
Hernandez. Mr. Fernandez over 94.5 fantasy points. We got Tobias over 20.5. I mean, that line is crazy when you think of top position and kickboxing. Sudamargi, fantasy points. We're going over 58.5 because the money line, right? What was it minus 200 plus? That should be easily correlating to 75 points or so. Long Zhao, we think he just kind of does what he wants in and out on the feet. 55.5 significant strikes over on that. Gregory Rodriguez, that's a wild line we came into, right? 32.5. That could be a move fighter, but I guess the weight class is iffy. And Raul Rosas, 24.5 significant strikes over. That's bizarre because, like, if it kickboxes for a little bit of time, you're right there. If he gets the top position, it's right there as well, right?
Yep. I like it. Like it a lot.
I like this one a lot for us.
By the way, is this supposed to be a diss? Where is this one? Here. Mike, are you stoned? I don't know if that's supposed to be a diss. Where's Spencer? Spencer's always watching in the chat. He's stoned. We don't mind it.
Unfortunately, I'm not. I'm just, I don't know, squinty-eyed, I guess.
Tobias over Fernandez. That's close. I like Fernandez, I think, a little more, but that's just me.
Dude, I like Fernandez. I love him. And, you know, I started the fight.
He said not a diss. I'm high. I didn't think it was a diss, honestly.
Not at all. And I mean, I feel like it's culturally the norm now here on on the fight world that we are in. But yeah, so let me break down on the X's and O's from how I'm going to be attacking it. It may be different than you now that you kind of talked to me. I'm going to be revamping all my lineups now that I thought that, you know, Oliveira gets me up to those big boys, but then I need to leave like what, 500 on the table to be unique, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would live in the mid-range, but some of the guys I was looking at was mixing in Aguilar or Rainer de Ritter. They get me to open up my lineups to whatever I need up top. Then I can take a Hernandez, Holloway type of lineup. Hell, I guess you could probably go Tobias, Hernandez, Holloway, right? And then get one of the middle range pieces and hope that they're the ceiling play. There's some strong guys that we talked about. I'm not going to say Tumandemberel and a Montes. Those are two key cogs. Either of those guys score 100 plus points, they're the ones you're going to need, right, JSU?
Yep, definitely.
So if you're garnering leverage, it's going to be Tersios or Deran, right? Like it kind of shows you what the plays are. And then you're going to be towards a middle range play, because if you're inherently taking Tersios and Deran, I think that's a little too risky.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the Tersios fight from the DFS side for sure. So I don't think he's a great play for DFS.
Understood. And betting side of things, I have to say it again. That number will be gone. It's probably already moving everywhere, but Luke Fernandez by submission was out there at plus 1,500 on sportsbooks. It is crashing, folks. That will close closer to plus 700, might even get to plus 500, because it's going to be a grappler that can go down there. Club and sub is in play. That's very interesting. I'm going to have like a parlay of just subs. So Fernandez by sub, maybe even, you know me, I like the round robin. Yeah, no, you want your parlays. Round robin gives me the exposure to all those outcomes. Fernandez by sub is a decent price tag. Montes by sub is a good number at plus 200.
What's Jesus?
Oh, Jesus, yeah, mix him in there. That's got to be a decent number too, right?
Plus 400.
That's plus 400. That's his path to victory. GSU.
I know.
Literally, you could do the first 5 fights by submission. Think about it. Fernandez by submission, Jesus by submission, Tobias by submission, Deran by submission, and you've got like a boatload of money moving in. Johnson. Let's talk about Johnson as an asset for fantasy. I get really happy about this because I think I can lock him in. I might lock him in on this slate because I can do it. Is that a bad thing for me to do, or would you consider doing that?
Oh, no, I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just a question of, can he score enough? He definitely can. And if we don't like the 9K range that much, I definitely don't think it's a bad thing to just load up on the favorite 9K fighter, and then just say, yeah, I'm going to be under on, but I don't really love the 9K range outside of this from a DFS perspective. So it's okay to just be way over on one of these guys, and you'll still get some of the other 9K fighters. You're just not going to get as much, but you'll still get some. So I don't mind the lock. I'm definitely going to be higher on the Cody Tumandemberel fight. That's going to be a fight that I jam here. And
let me ask you.
Obviously, I'm going to jam the main event. So those two fights, I'm going to be way over. I'm going to pretty much lock probably those two fights.
I love that. I mean, those are great floor, but the ceilings are just immense. They're probably the two higher ceilings. And which fight or fights, plural, are you most likely to fade? Because I think
from a DFS
angle, let's not talk about Barriault and the other low-owned one, Sudamargi and Jesus Aguilar.
So the Xiaolong fight versus Cody Garbrandt, I'm definitely looking to fade or at least be one-sided, being under on Xiaolong. But that fight, I think the other fight that I'm probably going to,
I know what you're going to say.
The Rosas Rob Font fight, I'm probably going to
end up the popular ones. I'm trying to push you towards either
Dober and Johnson. Dober and Johnson, I'm probably going to be
on the answer. See, that's the answer to win a lot of money, is trying to fade the chalk. Now you have the chalk fight of the week.
So this is good. The anti-play. I think those three fights are my anti-fights, if that makes sense.
I'll never talk you into Bruno. You should be saying
your anti-fight is definitely Bruno and RoboCop. You're on record. That's your fight.
I was trying to steer you towards it, but you did get to the Dober and Johnson, right?
Three. Well, I mean, Raul Rosas he's going to get ownership.
Yeah. I just always look at the X factors to the slate, and Cody Garbrandt. Imagine a Cody Garbrandt knockout. That's going to be like...
No, I'm not imagining it.
But he turns back the clock. He's old Cody with those hooks. He fucking lands, knocks him down, gets back up, knocks him down again. I'm trying to say, Silva de Andrade did it last week. He just couldn't finish the job.
Yeah.
Man, next week we're going to another fight. And the week after that, it just doesn't stop. Tonight, we get the White House card. Predictions? Kayla? You got to have Kayla on the White House.
I would assume as long as her injury is fine by then, as long as her neck's healed up, I would assume she's on the card. So what? Kayla Nuerzag probably on the card.
I think so.
I hope Conor McGregor's on the card. Probably won't be, but that's what I would love to see Conor and Nate Diaz just go back at it.
I wouldn't hate that. It actually makes sense.
It does make sense.
Because you know why? You got, I guess I don't look at Conor as Ireland anymore. He's like always around Trump and shit. Like he was at the inauguration, and then you got like the anti-establishment in Nate Diaz, right? Like that's kind of fun.
Yeah, like, dude, that'd be a fun, Nate Diaz. They might be scared of the shit Nate Diaz might say, but I don't care. Like let him in. Let's go. Let's fight. Yeah, I don't know if they want Nate Diaz and his boys at the White House. I don't know about that.
Yeah, that definitely is something that you wouldn't want to see. And I mentioned it. I brought the tweet up, by the way. All three -200 or higher favorites in the main event so far in 2026. Paddy Pimblett -225. Fluffy -250. Good call on that. Brandon Moreno -205. All lost this year. Small favorites won the other fights. Volkanovski -150. Batista -135. Just something to monitor. It's silly, but you got to learn. This game doesn't finish. This game continually evolves. So main event favorites, bigger favorites, -200. So 66% or higher favored. They're losing fights, man.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting stat. Justin Tapora at the White House card. I think that's
mortal.
Very, very real possibility right there. That would make sense. It would suck because Justin's going to get absolutely destroyed, but it is what it is. The fight card is I would love it if they pulled something and we saw like Islam and in Topuria, because that's a fight I want to see. I don't want to see Justin just get flatlined. I mean, it'll be fine. It'll be fun, but he's gonna get flatlined. Like I wanted to see Islam versus Topuria. I still want that fight. Maybe not at the White House. Maybe they do it some other time, but they need that fight to happen. I know.
I think what's more interesting about the White House card is what they're going to do for supporting fights, not the title fights. You need to tell a story for those 4 fights, right? Like whether it be title contenders, all 4 title contenders.
So now are they for sure down to 6? Because they had like that 7th fight that Dana was hinting at.
Maybe it's the fight you're talking about. Maybe it's that they're dangling the carrot from McGregor and they're like, sign the, whatever, but sign the dotted line. But yeah, so
Aspinall literally said he's training, but he still can't take strikes to the face.
That's because of Eddie Hearn.
Oh, yeah.
Well, did you see that last thing? And we can get the hell out of here. You can tell us what's coming up on Run Pure Sports, but I think it's Dana White versus Eddie Hearn boxing match. Dana White said, I'll go. I'll do it. Dana White plus 275, mortal lock. It's whatever the opposite is. I saw Dana plus 275 opener.
That's a nice line right there for sure.
Who was he supposed to fight back in the day? It was supposed to be Tito, right? No, Tito Ortiz. You're supposed to have a behind the scenes MMA match, and Tito bailed out on him.
Yeah, if Colby's on the card, then I will be very I'll be unhappy with that. Colby at this point in his career is
you need Bo Nickel versus Cody. That's the fight to make, to be fair.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, you put another name over.
It is
USA,
American.
USA.
Yeah, I guess it's the new style versus the old style. Cody hasn't. Well, you're right. It probably is a fight they will have on the card.
Definitely, I think so. And tell us about what's happening at One Pure Sports. And get the hell in Discord, man. It was lit. Wiley's in there all day now. It's tides are changing. MMA, our sport, growing
every Saturday. Saturdays are for the boys. Fight night. We love it. It should be an awesome card. And if you're a member or you become a member, link your account, get in the Discord, and all the memberships all get you access into the Discord. So no matter what you get in there, chop it up with us, ask questions. You can add us in chat, talk, whatever, all the sports, MMA channel, NBA.
Look at Brandon's comment. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can
see scenes in the White House.
That's got a 0% chance of happening. That's a 0%. But yes, definitely one of those fights I would love to see. I would love to see it, but we're definitely not going to see it. So, smash the like button on the video too. Just over 2 hours for this card. Card's an absolute banger. Hope you guys enjoyed this edition of the Run Pure Sports MMA show, and hope you enjoy the fights tonight. We'll see you guys next week. Until then, for Mike, I'm John. Good luck in your MMA DFS and betting over on DraftKings and DraftKings Sportsbook. We're out of here. Peace.